Monologues. We love to hate to love them, don't we? But why? What's the problem exactly with speaking solo on stage? I'm glad you asked. You're listening to Acting for Community Theatre, a little show with big ideas, stories, acting tips, and a lot of heart for community theatre artists. I'm Barbra French. Some actors love them, some actors fear them, and some actors downright hate them. Directors often have a love-hate relationship with them too. And yet, we all use them in performance, in audition, in acting classes, and even more so now with people rehearsing solo at home. Monologues are great for lots of reasons. You don't have to worry about your scene partner screwing up or forgetting a line. You can work on them on your own schedule. You can work on them at home, alone, which is all many of you can access right now. And probably the biggest reason is that you should always have a couple of them ready to go, tucked into your back pocket, as it were, for auditions. I'll cover details about that in another episode. By the way, I will absolutely be talking about working with monologues in my online course, in much the same way that you do, say, a modification in an exercise class. I'll be doing the same sort of thing with my acting class, looking at scene work and then applying it to solo performance. Because the reason I'm doing an online class in the first place is that I can't get together with my students right now, and they, or you, can't get together with me. So I'm fully aware that people are alone and at home, that they want to work on acting, and so I will absolutely make a big chunk of the course about solo work. But for now, let's talk about why monologues can be difficult. First, monologues make it generally harder for actors to learn about playing action. Action is the currency of the theater. It's the reason we go to watch it. It's the central work of the actor. And playing action is what actors are supposed to do. And it's much easier to teach people about action when they are in a scene with other people. It's easier to fight for what you want from a person who is actually in the room with you. Another problem is monologues don't allow the actor to really be in a moment with another person. They don't allow them to truly listen to someone, to react to what they're saying, and to watch for how their lines land, to see if their scene partner is being moved in the direction that they want them to go. In other words, monologues don't really allow the actor to experience the full range of acting skills. Actors can imagine someone else listening and reacting. They can set their transitions from one moment to the next, but they are acting in a practiced bubble. Now, these are big problems. They're not insurmountable, however, and I have some tips that will help address them. There are 3 main things that every actor must do in order to work effectively and skillfully with a monologue. Number 1, you must know who you're talking to, specifically, not just the audience. Talking to the audience means that you've dropped your character and you've lowered the fourth wall. It means that we're abandoning the suspension of disbelief, telling the audience that you're fully aware that they're there, and admitting that you are an actor playing a character. Now, this works very well for presentational theater and meta theater, but most of your acting will be done, I'm assuming, when the fourth wall is up. In other words, when everyone is pretending that the audience is peeking into something private and that you are acting truthfully as your character in this make-believe world. So instead of talking to the audience, you have to endow that audience with something that makes sense. It could be people from your high school reunion. It could be the people who are attending your father's funeral. It could be strangers in a grocery store. If you're talking to a specific person, You can talk to an empty chair that you've put downstage and pretend that they're there. You can talk to God. You can talk to yourself. You can talk to somebody who's dead through a specific object or somebody in a picture frame. But talk to somebody and make it specific. In addition, it is so much stronger when you speak to a specific person or group of people than if you're just talking to someone, like an audience. Talking to your ex-lover is much more powerful than to the audience. So make them part of the story. Number 2, you must know why you are speaking. Why are you saying these things? Why are you saying these specific things to this specific person? And why are you saying them now? What do you want from them? And what will happen if you don't get what you want? Answering these questions will really help you drill down into the action in your monologue. Number 3, you must know if your character has planned out what they are going to say or if they're winging it in the moment. Now, this applies to all acting. Whether it's a solo piece or a two-hander or a full ensemble, you always need to understand if your character has planned what they're saying or if they're just going with the flow in the moment, and what may have triggered them to speak in the first place. Most people do not plan what they're going to say most of the time. We just all sort of muddle along. The beauty of that natural human tendency is that it gives you the opportunity to have the moments in between the things that you say where you decide where to go next, what to say next, where you can look at that other person that you're talking to and see if they're actually reacting or reacting in the way that you want them to. If they've planned it, then there's opportunity for deciding whether or not they stick to the plan. Maybe you're changing tactics. Maybe you decide not to continue at all. Maybe you've gone right off script. And that is why you need to know if your character has planned what they're going to say or if they're just winging it. Addressing these 3 things will make sure that you're playing action, and it will give you more truthful moments of thinking, discovering, reacting, etc. Monologues are ideal if you're working on your acting skills by yourself at home. You can take on risky material that you wouldn't otherwise try. You can video yourself for critique. You can take some notes on what you see, work bits you don't like. It can be a wonderful way of learning and practicing your craft. But it can be tough to not develop some bad habits or ignore things that aren't working so well when you're working alone. These 3 tips will definitely help you sharpen and polish up your solo performance skills. Please share this around and subscribe if your platform allows you to do that. And why not send me an email to let me know what you'd like me to cover here? Seriously, send me an email. Let me know. But for now, I'm Barbra French. Thanks for listening. You can video yourself for critique. You can video yourself for critique. You can video yourself for critique. I don't know.